What's up, guys? I'd like to welcome you to the Fast Hands Boxing Strikes for MMA DVD. As always, I'd like to offer you the guarantee that if you don't like what you're watching and you're not learning anything or you think it sucks, that you can always mail it back to me and I'll give you a full refund. Okay, first up, what I'd like to go over is the equipment you're going to need for the DVD. First, you're going to need a heavy bag. And if you don't have a heavy bag, you can use one of those Wave Masters, the freestanding heavy bags. If you don't have either one of those, you could feasibly use a wall or possibly just shadow box. But what I would like you to do is have that bag, because it's important while you're learning your main punches to have something to get used to where you're hitting it and missing it. The next thing, you're going to have 16-ounce gloves. I think this would be enough padding to take care of it to where you don't need to buy hand wraps or use hand wraps. We're not trying to kill the bag here, but if you insist on killing it, please do get some hand wraps. So gloves, heavy bag, and just some space to move around, and you'll be good to go for this DVD. Let's get started. Okay, so I'd like to go over a few tips on how to hit the bag or how to hit your opponent. First thing is I want to keep my hands open, my guard nice and relaxed until the point of impact. So my hand is open until impact, where I close my fist to get that optimal amount of force. So I'm open, 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 and then when I get right to my target, I'm going to close my fist. And then once I hit it with my fist, I'm going to open it back up when I retract it. It's just part of staying relaxed. There's no need to stay tense all the way through your punches. You can do that, but I prefer to conserve a little bit of energy. Another thing is you want to connect with the first three knuckles in your hand. It's the strongest portion of your hand. I've connected with the bottom three a lot. Somebody told me to do that. I don't know why, but I ended up hurting my hand and it sucked. So you want to try to hit the bag with the first three knuckles upon impact. So you're open and then you close it and hit with the top three knuckles. Now I'm telling you this, but I don't want you to be overly concerned with turning over your punches, because obviously if you're a little closer to your target, you're closer to the bag, you're closer to your opponent, I don't want you to feel like you have to turn it over before you get there. If you throw your punch, throw a short straight right hand and it lands about right here, it doesn't matter. It's okay. I really don't want you to be overly concerned with that. So if you're shortening up and you're hitting about right here, that's fine. Now, if you're from a greater distance back, then it's going to help you to turn over your punches, because if I throw a jab and I don't turn over my punch, I stop here. If I throw a jab and I turn over my punch, I'm going to get a little bit more distance. So it just really depends on where you are in relation to your target. You're close, don't worry about turning it over. The farther you get away, the more distance you're going to create for yourself if you turn your fist over. Another thing is, when a lot of guys start, or, even good guys, they'll hyperextend their elbow because they don't find a nice stopping point with their punches. When you feel like you have to reach to get to your target, I don't want you to ever reach. I don't want you to sacrifice your balance just to reach your target. So don't overreach. Find a nice stopping point in your punches, and if you're a little short of your target, that's when you make those small adjustments with your feet and step closer. So if I'm here and I know that I find that nice stopping point, but I'm not there yet, I just retract it, take another step forward, and then connect. So find the keys to not hyperextending your elbow, or finding a nice stopping point in your punches, keeping it where you have a slight bend left in your elbow. If if you reach for your opponent, I'll go throw a right hand here. You reach for your opponent and you lock out your arm, there's a good chance if you're throwing it pretty hard that you're going to hyperextend your elbow, and it sucks. You don't want to do that. It hurts. So just find a nice stopping point where you have a little bit of bend left in your elbow. And another thing to help you keep from hyperextending your elbow is turning that elbow out. So my elbow's in here because that's where we want to be to protect the body, but when I start throwing it out, I want to corkscrew my elbow out and then stop with a nice bend. Like I said in the introduction, we're not trying to kill the bag. There's no point to that. It's not about how hard you hit it, it's about how good you hit it. So just don't try to kill the bag. You're going to end up hurting your hands anyways. Just throw medium power. This thing is harder than your hands. It will win. I don't want you to push your punches. And what I mean by that, I don't want you to push them. I want you to snap them. So snapping your punches means that once you get to the target, I want you to hit your target and then bring it back. There's no point to push through because the power dissipates once you hit your target. So I want to snap. Once I hit my target, boom, and I'm pulling it back. Boom, boom. And I'm pulling it back. I don't need to push through my punches. There's no point in doing that. I'm not hitting him any harder. Okay, so now I want to go over breathing. I don't subscribe to the whole theory where you have to exhale on every single punch, where you're going jab, right hand, left hook, right hand. Okay, so what happens is that I've thrown 3, 4, or 5 punch combination. I've exhaled 3, 4, 5 times, and I haven't inhaled yet, which means I'm going to be oxygen deprived, and my body operates on oxygen, so I need oxygen. So I think the key to breathing is just remember to breathe normally. Try to relax, breathe normally. Remember not to hold your breath under pressure or when you're attacking with your combinations. Just try to stay relaxed, try to continue to breathe normally, and don't hold your breath. So I think that's what you want to think about, not holding your breath. It takes a lot of practice, but you will get used to it, especially when you're in a sparring situation and you're getting hit. You have to remember to breathe at that point as well. But like I said, it just takes practice. Stay relaxed. Remember not to hold your breath. Continue breathing. Okay, next up. Okay guys, so now we're going to get into the meat of our DVD content, and we're going to go into our 5 basic punches. And the first one I want to start off with is the jab. But before we do that, I'll go over the basic stance and guard real quick. We covered this in the Boxing Footwork for MMA DVD. Get that if you haven't already. It's the foundation for all of these movements. But your stance, if you're orthodox, which means you're right-handed, you put your right hand back. Premises, you want your strongest hand back for your power shots. But feet shoulder width apart. Nice athletic bend in the knees so you can move well. Bring one hand up a little closer to your face. Bring your lead hand out a little bit, a bit farther from your face, and you're in that staggered stance. So you're about right here. I don't like to put my gloves up. I don't like to put the earmuffs up because it blocks your peripheral vision. So I like to keep my hands here where I can see everything, and when I get a chance, when I make my defensive movements, I can see everything, and I can just come up here. Anyways, okay, so we'll start with the jab. Jab is a straight punch, and it's thrown with your lead hand. So from the orthodox stance, your lead hand is here. For in southpaw stance, your lead hand is here. So I'll go from the orthodox since most people are right-handed. Thrown with your lead hand, it's a straight punch. There's no winding up. You just put it out there. It goes from straight from here to here, here to here. That's it. You don't wind up, you just throw your hand out. Start your hand and then push off your back foot. So if I'm here looking for my target, I start my hand and push off my back foot to get that power. Boom. Boom. Here. On the heavy bag, I'm going. Nice snapping jab. As you see, I'm not trying to kill it. I'm just throwing it out there. This is the most important punch in your arsenal. Most people don't use it a lot, but you should. It should almost always be the first punch in every combination, and you should probably never really throw anything else until your jab lands. So once my jab lands, I know that I have my range. So if I'm out here, I'm testing here, here. I've reached my target. I know I can hit them. So from here, I know I'm ready to drop my bombs. Right hand, left hook, uppercuts, overhand right, etc. Another thing I like to go over real quick before we move on to the right cross or the straight right hand is the double jab and the triple jab. Since I said that you wouldn't want to really throw any other punch until that jab lands, you're going to want to land that jab first. So if I'm out here and I'm too far away from my target, I like to put the jab in his face so it gives him something to think about. I don't have to hit him for it to do what I want it to do. So I want to keep his eyes busy while I move behind my jab. So I mean, if I'm here and I'm just throwing it out there, he can't step forward if I have a punch constantly in his face because he's going to get popped. So he has something to worry about. So to the double jab, and triple jab, if I want to close distance, all I'm going to do is I know I'm out of range, so I'm going to throw my jab, push off my back foot, and then come back to my back foot, retract my punch halfway, and then push through again. So retract my punch halfway, throw it, retract halfway, bring my foot back, my back heel to the ground, and push off again. It's that quick step, I call it a quick step, and I went over this in the Boxing Footwork for MMA DVD. Quick step is just here, so he's going to focus on my feet, and I'm going to push and come back and push again. So push, come back, push again. Here, here. So I can do as many jabs as I want to, and it's the same movement. Push here, push, back, push, back. So I can go double jab, triple jab, quadruple jab, here, here, here. And that's how I want to move forward. So he's going to come back up. So if I'm out of range, I'm going to throw a double jab. Here, there I am. If I'm a little farther back, I go 1, 2, 3. A little faster. Throwing a right hand handle it. So you get the idea. So jab, double jab, triple jab. Jab's the most important punch. You want to learn that, get that down first. A lot of practice. All right, so now we're going to cover the straight right hand or the right cross, or if you're a southpaw, then it would be the straight left hand or the left cross, but I'll do it from the orthodox stance. So a right hand or a straight right cross, it's going to be a straight punch thrown with the rear hand to the head or body. So if I'm here in my orthodox stance, left hand forward, right hand back, my right cross or my straight right hand is coming from this hand right here. In order to throw it, we pivot on our back foot and turn our foot, hips, and shoulders toward the target at the same time. And we shoot this hand straight from our chin. So we don't want to load up. We just want to shoot it straight from wherever our hand position is at, wherever you're comfortable with. So here we go. Straight right hand, throw it right from our chin. And I'm pivoting my foot, I'm turning my hips, I'm turning my shoulders towards the target. For a body shot, all we're going to do differently is we're going to drop our level. Keep our back straight. You don't want to bend over. You're going to eat a knee. You don't want to hang out here either, but you just want to drop your level, kind of like you're going in for a double leg. Drop your level. Boom. And then bring it right back. We want to shoot it from our chin, bring it right back, because it's going to leave a hole where we can be countered. So we want to bring it, as soon as we shoot it, we want to bring it right back to our chin so we can catch that left hook, or we can roll under that left hook. You don't want to leave it out there. You don't want to be lazy. You might get caught with something. So bring it right back. Now, the fist turn is going to be more pronounced the farther you are away. So if you're back here, to get more distance, you're going to turn it all the way over. Now, if you're a little closer, I don't care if you turn it all the way over. Don't feel like you have to turn it all the way over before you get to your target. Don't feel like you have to turn it here. If your guy's 10 inches in front of you, you just turn it wherever it lands. But the farther you are back, the more you're going to need to turn over that fist so you can land it from farther away. And we're going to corkscrew our arm towards the target to make it more comfortable. We're going to corkscrew that elbow. Now for the foot pivot, the same thing is going to be more pronounced the farther you are away. So if you're closer to the target, you don't have to turn that foot all the way towards your target. You don't have to point it all the way here. You can just turn your hip. You can pop your hip. So if I'm right in front of my guy, I can just pop my hip and shoulders towards the target, and I'm not really turning. I'm just pushing off my back foot, transferring my weight. This is another important thing that I didn't mention at the beginning. We want to transfer our weight with that pivot, transfer our weight from our front foot, from my back foot to my front foot. So you want to end up with your weight on your front foot. So the motion is from this position to this position. Now back to our foot position on the pivot. The closer we are, the less we have to pivot. The farther we are back, the more we're going to have to pivot. All right, this is going to be your most commonly used power shot, so it's important that you learn it correctly and practice it a lot. And it's going to be most prevalently used in that combination of the 1-2, the jab, straight right. So most of the time you're here, and once the jab lands, you're going to shoot that straight right. So you're going to land your jab, find the range with your jab, and once you land your jab, you can just go ahead and shoot that right hand. Okay, and that's the right hand. Now we're going to go over hooks. Hooks are power punches thrown mostly from close range with either hand into the head or the body. It comes from the side, whereas the jab and the straight right hand are straight punches. This one, the hooks are going to come from the side, here, here. It's going to come from the side with the fist, elbow, and shoulder all parallel with the floor. So you see that's nice and parallel with the floor. That's where you'd finish. And what I like to think of it as is a stirring motion with your hand. Act as if you're stirring a bowl of soup. This is the motion right here with your arm. And you finish parallel. Now with your feet, your hips, and your shoulders are all going to act as if you're opening and closing a door. So you're going to open your stance like you've just thrown a right hand, and then you're going to close your stance, and it's like you're closing a door. So I've opened the door, closed the door. So make the stirring motion up top, retract, open the door, and then close the door. And it's just that simple. Actually, it's not simple. It's the most difficult punch to throw. But we're going to, one of the easiest ways to learn how to throw the left hook is to get in that position like you've just thrown a right hand. So throw your right hand, and you got that pivot. You're pivoted over here towards your target. So now you're in a position, you've opened the door, now you're in a position to come back with that left hook. So you're going to stir away, and then you're going to stir back and close that door. On the bag. You do it with the right hand. So stirring motion up top, opening and closing the door with your feet. Now the fist position, I told you at the top of this video, is that you're going to, it's mostly a close range weapon, but in order to increase the distance, you can turn that fist over. The closer you are, the less you're going to have to turn that fist over. So if I'm right here, all I have to do, I can keep my fist perpendicular to the floor, and I don't have to turn it over and be parallel with my palm facing down. Now if I want to increase the distance from which I throw the hook, if I want to throw it from back here, I'm going to have to turn it over, because I'm not going to be able to reach it if I keep my fist perpendicular to the floor. I'll come up short. Now this one's a little bit more devastating, put a lot more weight behind it, but it's a much more close range weapon. So if you want to throw from a bit farther away, it's almost like a jab hook. It's a little straighter of a punch, but it's coming from the side still. So you can throw it. I throw hooks with my lead hand to the body or the head. I've been showing you the head. And with your rear hand to the head or to the body. I don't really throw it with my rear hand to the head unless I'm really, really close. up in here, but I will throw it to the body quite a bit. I'll go to the body. I'll show you how to do that. The only difference is you're going to drop your level like you're shooting, like I showed you previously with the straight right hand. So if I want to go the left hook to the body, I'm going to open my stance and drop my weight and come up. Bam! And it's more, you're still stirring, but you're coming up towards the liver and you're coming up with the punch. It's like it's a shovel hook, they call it. It's almost like a half hook, half uppercut. So I'm still stirring, open my stance, drop my weight, come up. And usually what you'll do is you'll finish that off with a hook up top. So hook down low, hook up top. Now a right hook to the body is a little bit more difficult. You use the same footwork as you do with your straight right hand. You're going to pivot, but instead of bringing everything together, you're going to have to drag your body and your left shoulder first, and you're bringing your right hand behind it. Straight right hand to the body, shoot everything together. Everything comes at once. A rear hook to the body, you're going to drag your body in front and lag behind with that right hook. So you always want to set it up with something. Left hook to the body, head, you're back over here, you're set up for that right hand of the body. Drag your body across the target and drop that right hand in. It's almost the same way with the hook up top, although I rarely throw it. Drag your body across. And that's the hook up top, hook up the body. This is you can use hooks and there's a plethora of combinations, but the one you see the most is, adding on to that 1-2, you're going to just end up with the 1-2-3, jab, right hand, left hook. It's one of the most common combinations for the left hook. Find your range. And that's covering the hooks. And the last two punches we're going to cover are the uppercut and then the overhand right, and then we're going to go over feints or fake punches. Uppercuts are close range power shots you can throw with either hand. And we'll start with the lead uppercut first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get in that position like I've thrown a right hand, a short right hand, because I'm not going to be pivoting all the way over. And we're going to be really close to our opponent, so there's no need to get all the way over. So I'm going to get over here, get my weight on my left side, and drop my level. Sit down right here. And since this is a close range power shot, I probably wouldn't want to be too far out when you're throwing your uppercuts. So I'm pretty close. I drop my level, get on my left side for my lead uppercut. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with a upwards motion towards the head. And I'm going to push off my left foot, come up, and hopefully connect on the chin. So again, we're going to get our weight on the left side and drop our level here, come up with an upwards motion. And it's just a real short punch. So you drop your level, come up, and your hand's right here to protect your face right after you throw it. On the bag, I'm gonna be pretty close. So I'm gonna be right here with my opponent, about 12 inches away. Drop level, up, up. Now the rear uppercut, you're going to throw, it's going to be similar to the footwork to the right hand. But we're not going to pivot all the way in because we don't need to. We're not going to pivot all the way towards our target because we're pretty close. So all we're going to have to do is get our weight. First, we're going to have to drop our level, get our weight more towards our right side. So I'm here, I drop my level, my weight's leaning towards my right side, and I'm going to come up in an upwards motion and pop my hip and turn my hips and my shoulders with that upwards motion towards my target. Now for both the lead uppercut and the rear uppercut, we're going to be making a similar motion with our upper body. It's almost like we're making a circular motion with our upper body. And the best way I can explain it is just to show it, and hopefully you can practice this motion. So my body's here. You want to get in your orthodox stance, and you want to drop your level and come back up. You're making like a diagonal circle up towards the target. Now for a rear uppercut, it's going to be the opposite way. I'm just making a circular motion with my upper body towards the target. So you drop your level, come up. Drop your level, come up. And it's a circular motion with your upper body. So again, lead uppercut, drop your weight, come up. That's circular motion. Rear uppercut, drop our weight, come up. Circular motion with that upper body movement. Circular motion. Okay, so the next one is going to be the overhand right. It's going to have similar footwork to the straight right hand because we're going to pivot towards our target. But instead of coming straight, we're going to throw a looping downward punch. It's designed to connect behind a high guard. So if your opponent's hands are up and there's not really any space in between his hands and he's keeping his hands nice and high, you want to drop that right hand right over the left glove and behind it. So you're connecting in the ear, maybe the temple. So the footwork is like the straight right hand. We're pivoting depending on how close we are to our target. If we're farther away, we're pivoting all the way. If we're closer, we're pivoting a little less. But the upper body motion is more like the rear right, the right hook, or your rear hook. You're going to sweep your body across the target and lag your hand behind. So I'm sweeping my upper body, my left shoulder past my target. I'm going here, I'm sweeping, and I'm coming down. Sweeping through, and bring my right hand behind me. So it looks more like this. You know, and as you're throwing the punch, you're sweeping your head this way, but you want to keep your eye on the target this way. And you can set it up with that jab, land it, and then sweep across with the overhand right. And try to bring it back as quickly as you can. The last thing we'll cover is the feints or fake punches. Feints basically are used to create a reaction out of your opponent that causes an opening for you to attack. Or you can use it to get in a better angle or a better position in relation to your opponent. The feints I like to use are the rolling punches, or just, excuse me, not rolling punches, but rolling your fists. I like to keep an active hands up front, kind of like a batter in a batter's box, how he wiggles his bat. And he's got that motion, and he's not static, but he's ready to drive through the ball. So I'm here, I got active hands, I'm ready to defend, parry a punch, or block. But I like to keep active hands, especially for feint. So I'm here, I got active hands, and then a nice feint is to break it down and roll your fists. And then you can come with whatever combination after that. Roll your fists, left hook, and another one would be half punches. This would probably be the most prevalent form. Is to just throw that half punch out there. Maybe not even half, but a quarter of the way. Here, you can do it with a jab. Do it with the right hand, and get them to react and go where you want them to go, so you can capitalize. Half punches, you can use your eyes depending on where you're looking. You could look down to the body and then come up top. You look up at the head and just drop your level, come down to the body. Also your shoulders. And I almost, when you do these half punches or quarter punches or rolling fists, you're using your shoulders along with it to sell the feint. So I'm using my shoulders, I'm using my hand and the twisting of my shoulders, popping your hips as though you may be feinting a hook. And then come back with something else. They're really effective if you use them correctly. But make sure you know that whenever you throw a feint, the feint's purpose is to cause a reaction. Now, that reaction may be a punch, so be prepared to perform a defensive motion and get out of the way. Now, I mean, when you throw that feint, you may be throwing that feint to get a certain punch in return, so you can slip and come back with a counter. But that's how it works. I've gone over all the punches individually. Now I want to put them together in one big long combination. It's a 17-punch combination. As with everything else that I put together, I like to make it a little bit more difficult than easy, I guess. But it'll take you a few days to get it. But just practice it over and over again. The 17 punches, the way I've arranged them, is for you to get used to. I believe that putting these 17 punches together will get you used to twisting and turning and dropping your level and coming back up top to the head. It will get you used to doing all those things in succession. So So you're used to, like I said, twisting and turning and dropping down the body and coming back up to the head and then going back down to the body. Now, I mean, is this practical for MMA or boxing? Maybe boxing, but not MMA, because nobody's going to stand there and let you throw 17 punches at them before they fucking grab you. But this is, like I said, will get you accustomed to throwing all those punches that we learned. So you'll transition from training all those punches, the jab, the right hand, the uppercuts, the hooks. You'll transition from training those individually into putting them into this one big long combination and just doing it for 3 or 5 minute rounds, nice and loose, and just get used to just throwing everything. If something doesn't feel right with your feet, adjust it. If something doesn't feel right with how you're leaning one way or the other, adjust it. It's all about throwing the punches, practicing them, and getting comfortable with how you throw them and how they fit into a combination together. Okay, so I'll go over the 17 punch combination. Just write all these down and then take them to the gym and practice them, okay? Okay, so the first, I'll just go through it step by step. We're going to go jab, hook, hook, straight right to the head, come back, right uppercut to the head, come back, overhand right to the head, uppercut to the head, hook to the head, right hand to the body, uppercut to the head, drop levels, straight right to the body, hook to the body, hook to the head, jab to the body, overhand right to the body, uppercut to the head, left hook to the head. Okay? So I'll go through that again. I'll go through it slow. Jab, hook, hook, right hand, uppercut, overhand right, uppercut, hook, straight right to the body, hook to the body, hook to the head, jab to the body, overhand to the head, uppercut to the head, left hook to the head. Jab, hook, hook, straight right, uppercut, overhand, uppercut, left hooks, right to the body, uppercut, straight right to the body, hook to the body, hook to the head, jab to the body, overhand right, uppercut, left hook. So I think I got it written down right in front of me. See if I got this right for you. So jab, hook, hook, right hand, uppercut, overhand, uppercut, hook, right hook to the body, uppercut, straight right to the body, hook to the body, hook to the head, jab to the body, overhand right, uppercut, hook. So a little bit faster. Jab, I'll do it again. That one up. Like I said, you will forget. I'm trying to do this. I've gotten to a pretty good rhythm with it, but you see how if you can just start practicing and get into a flow with it, it starts to feel pretty good. Just relax. Try from the, once you got it down, try moving long and short. Stay short. go long. Just move in and out with whatever's appropriate with your punches. Also, another thing that would be good to do be to train your misses. What I mean by that is the best fighters in the world are going to miss half the time. So you want to be able to know what it feels like to miss your target and still remain on balance enough to bring back your next shot or your next punch in the combination. So throw it. Once you get used to throwing it, start missing some. And I'm not used to missing, but it'll be important to get used to missing. It may seem kind of silly at first, but train your misses. It's important. Another thing is to set up your shots. Don't feel like you have to kill the bag with every punch. That's not what boxing is about. You can just do, what I mean by that, I guess, is when I'm jabbing, when I do my first part of this big combination, when I throw jab, hook, hook, I'm not trying to get all the way over and throw the perfect left hook with power. I'm setting up what I'm doing with that jab, hook, hook, is that I'm going to lead them into my right hand. So think of it like this, is you want to touch your target, and then rim your target. So touch, touch, rim. And with the beginning of this combination, so nice and light, set up, and then drop it, drop the hammer. And also another thing with this, you'll notice how I'm constantly readjusting my feet during the combination. I'm not just staying in one spot. I'm moving to where it's appropriate for my punches. So if I'm throwing to the body, or if I'm throwing uppercuts, or if I'm throwing hooks, I'm obviously moving closer to my target with my feet, as opposed to when I'm throwing my jab and my straight right. So make sure you're always moving your feet. Don't reach. Just move your feet forward. Don't feel like if you're too far back, don't reach out here. You leave yourself open for a counter. I think that's something that I've said before. You want to move behind your jab. It's okay if you don't hit your target. It's like I said, train your misses. Start out here. Jab, hook, hook, right hand. Go ahead and train your misses. Just move forward behind your punches and don't feel like you have to reach to hit your target. You'll get there. So that's the combination, 17 punches. Just write it down, take it to the gym and practice. So now I want to go over some keys to speed and power, because obviously everybody wants to be faster and everybody wants to hit harder and drop their opponents. One of the things I like to tell people is you've got to relax if you want to be fast. Tension is speed's enemy. You won't hit any harder, nor will you be any faster by using your muscle to get from point A to point B. You want to think of your arms like a noodle. So it's be nice and relaxed. This is your instrument of delivery, and so it needs to be just nice and relaxed. Think of this as your instrument of delivery, and your power comes from the speed at which you transfer your weight. So in order to get there faster, with my arm needs to be relaxed. Nice and relaxed. Now the power comes from the weight I put behind each punch, and that comes from the transfer of weight. So if I want to throw a stiff jab, then I need to put more. Now a quick jab would just be now if I want to throw a stiff jab, a powerful jab, I will just push off my back foot and pop my upper body forward. I'm bringing more weight with me. And you won't be able to do that all the time because your opponent may be crowding you or doing something else that prevents you from bringing all your weight forward. And it might be more beneficial to you to just pop off a quick jab with not a lot of power. And this relates to every single punch. Your power comes from the transfer of weight, and the speed just comes from you relaxing. Another thing that has to do with speed is I like to work on my economy of motion, or how efficient my motion is. So here's a drill I like to do. I like to do almost everything in circles because it allows me to throw something. Have you ever seen somebody, I know I had a lot of difficulty with this when I first started out, is I'll throw something and they want to bring it straight back. But to me, it seems like things flow better, almost like a train on its tracks. You will go faster and it will be much smoother if you come back in circles. Now, I mean, it's obviously a subtle difference going straight there and straight back, between straight there and straight back and doing a circular motion. But think of it like that. Think of it as each punch is doing a circular motion. So here's a drill that I like to do to get warmed up. It's not really practical as part of a real punching scenario, but I like to, it works on all my different punches at the same time. To warm up, I'll roll my fists up for uppercuts. I'll go up and down. This not only warms up my hands, but it warms up my feet because I'm constantly making those readjustments down below that are so important for balance. Come up, drop my level. Now for hooks, I'm going to make circles out to my side. Do the same thing. Go down. Switch. Now for my straight punches, jab and right hand, I'll roll my fists over top of one another. Switch back and forth, hooks, uppercuts, straight punches. And now from here, I'm nice and warmed up. Just try that. Because I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to see how it feels to make those circular punches. And then step back
and see how it feels from distance. Feels like everything just runs better. Like I said, don't take my word for it. Just try it out. See if you like it. If you don't, you don't. Another thing I like to say is your hands are only as fast as your feet. One example I like to use, or actually I have a couple now, but Manny Pacquiao, probably the best pound for pound boxer right now. His feet are extremely fast. That is why he is so fast. That's why his hand speed is so fast, is because he moves his feet so quickly. And another example, I just got done watching the UFC fight last night between BJ Penn and Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar outboxed BJ Penn because he has faster feet. BJ, I'm not saying BJ slow by any means, but BJ was nice and moving, relaxed. But then you saw Frankie and his foot movement, his footwork, where he was just constantly creating angles, feinting, and throwing high volumes of punches. And he was able to do that, one, because he's conditioned, and two, because he is moving his feet so quickly and so much. He's constantly readjusting his feet, readjusting his angles, and he's not plodding around, slowly moving. He's moving his feet very quickly. Another thing that Frankie does, another thing I like to say is, if you want to be quick and speedy, you want to be up on the balls of your feet. You want to be light on your feet. And I know people hear that a lot, light on their feet. What does that mean? It just means that you're up on the balls of your feet and you're not plodding around. Your weight's not down. It's up a little higher. And you're always moving on the balls of your feet, ready to snake in and attack. So constant readjustments of the feet, and just stay up on the balls of your feet. Be light on your feet. I went over these few things in the Fast Feet DVD, my previous DVD, which is the foundation of all your boxing, is your footwork and your stance. And I went over the quick step, I think earlier in this video, and the open close, and then the transfer. It's called the weight transfer, foot to foot. Your power, like I said, comes from the speed at which you transfer your weight. So to get used to that, get used to transferring your weight more easily, is really subtle. Is just, this is what I call foot to foot. Moving your weight from foot to foot. And it's real subtle, but I'm transferring my weight frontwards, backwards, and I'm making small adjustments with my feet. And I'm getting used to bringing my weight with me. And to get you ready for something really, a quick double jab, or an in and out motion. All I do to get used to that, get warmed up, is just doing that transfer from foot to foot. It's just real simple, right to here. The quick step, what I was just doing for double jab, is just pushing off my back foot, stepping my front foot, coming back to my back foot, and then pushing again. The quick step is used for that double jab, so it's bam, bam. Real nice small movement, just real quick. With the bag, range, I can quickly get in range. Ha, ha. Ha, ha. Ha, ha. Just a quick double jab. And then the open close, which I showed on my footwork DVD, and I was semi-explaining it earlier when I was doing the footwork for the right hand and the left hook. Right hand, pivoting, transferring my weight to my front foot, from my back foot to my front foot, opening my stance, and then for the hook, I'm closing my stance. So I call that the open close. And the reason why I'm telling you to work on these 3 different drills is because it will speed up your hands because your feet are so fast. Like I said, your hands are only fast as your feet, so you need to constantly practice that footwork. So if you want a fast right hand, left hook, practice that open close. And it's all right here. If I want a more powerful right hand, left hook, I sit down on it and I bring more weight with me. If I want it lighter and faster, I stay up on the balls of my feet and I go and I do quicker motions. And one last thing, actually 2 last things. Don't rush. Think of it this way: slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Be surprised how slow you can go when you get yourself in a rush. You're just moving too fast. 1 punch at a time, and then work on speeding up that combination from there. And then the last thing, speeding up the combination, or your combinations, is to punch with if you're throwing a 1, 2, 3, you don't want to throw your jab, wait till your jab gets back, and then throw your right hand, wait till your right hand gets back, and then throw your left hook. If you want a faster combination or faster combination of punches, you want to throw that other punch out there while you're retracting your first one, or your second one, or your third one. So as I jab, and as I retract, I'm throwing my right hand. And as I retract my right hand, I'm throwing my left hook. And that's how I can get faster combination. So there you go. That's the keys to speed and power. Now that I've detailed all the punches, I want to go over how boxing relates to mixed martial arts and how you can use it effectively. And I'll go over a punching strategy for MMA. Obviously, the 3 new things that are introduced that you're going to have to worry about when transitioning from boxing to MMA or wanting to adopt a boxing for MMA style is you're going to have to deal with kicks and takedowns and the clinch. With the kicks, you're just going to have to work on your checks. Checking your kicks, which just means you're checking the kick with your shin. Another way is to step into kicks, meet them, and then deliver a counter shot. And another way is just to simply not be there. You got to really control your range and know where you are in relation to your opponent and how far out they can kick you, and things of that sort. The next thing would be takedowns. We obviously don't want to be on our back. If we're on our back, we can't operate, we can't throw our punches, we can't box. So you're really going to have to work on your sprawl, which is just essentially your Hands down first, 1 foot back, next foot back, drop the hips. I'll go over that more in detail in the defensive DVD, which would be the next one in the series. But you're going to have to be really, really good at sprawling. Because if you're boxing and you're a really good boxer and you're facing a grappler, what is he going to do? He's not going to stand there and punch you. He's going to try to take you down. But if he can't take you down, then he's in a lot of trouble. The clinch is the last thing. So you're really going to, in order to stay out of the clinch, you're just really going to have to control your space. You definitely don't want to be put up against the fence, and you're definitely going to have to keep moving and moving and moving. That's the biggest thing in boxing for MMA is to control your distance. And so you're going to be using a bunch of angles. So if my opponent comes towards me, I'm stepping back, I'm stepping to my right, or I'm stepping to my left. If he gets a collar tie on me, I'm just going to push and pivot away in one direction or the other. So just really work on pushing away and moving, continually moving in circles. If you want to keep it in the center of the ring or the center of the cage, you get put up against the fence. You're definitely going to be in the clinch, and then you're going to have to deal with elbows and knees, and then your takedowns. So definitely stay off the cage, keep moving, and work on that clinch defense if they get that collar tie, pushing away and pivoting. The next thing I would say is that you want to, when you attack, you want to punch and then move. You never really want to throw more than 3 to 4 punch combinations, because nobody's going to allow you to punch 3 or 4 or 5, 6 times without grabbing you. So you're going to have to get off and then move in one direction or the other, and then get off another combination and then move again. But if you continue to stay in one place, they're going to go get your legs. Going to come get an underhook, overhook, drag you in the clinch. So the biggest thing is just try to stick to 3 and 4 punch combinations, get off, angle, then attack again. Another thing is to throw lots and lots of jabs, and that goes back to controlling distance. If I'm constantly have a jab out in front of his face, he's going to be wary of just bum rushing in, because he might get caught with something. So constantly keep pumping that jab and moving, and lots of in and out motion. You saw that a lot with the Kenny Florian fight against Takanori Gomi. He just used that nice in and out motion, controlling the whole fight with his jab. Boom, in and out, space, in and out. And it's perfect. It's a perfect way. The jab will win you fights. The last thing I'll say, if you want to box for MMA, you're going to have to be conditioned. Have to be. Because you can't stand still ever. If you want to get off your strikes consistently and not be in the clinch, not be taken down and grapple on the ground, you're going to have to consistently move. And that goes back to me saying that you're going to have to attack 3 and 4 punch combinations and then move. A perfect example of this would be, not that BJ Penn tried to take Frankie Edgar down, but Frankie Edgar, the way he boxes in MMA is he punches, moves, punches, moves, punches, moves. Consistently moving, and he did that for 5 rounds. I don't think anybody thought that he could keep up that pace and that speed for 5 rounds, but he's used to fighting like that, number 1. And 2, he's very conditioned. So conditioning, if you want to box for MMA, you're going to have to be in condition. I'll try to create another DVD for that. And I'm not in perfect condition to do this, because I'm not competing right now anyways, but if I was going to, I would have to be in supreme condition, because you're going to have to be constantly defending takedowns, constantly pushing away, constantly moving, so you can keep the fight where you want it, and that's to make it essentially a boxing
And that's our punching strategy for MMA. Okay, so we'll end this DVD with a flow drill that's more specifically tailored to MMA, where we're going to add our punches in, and we're going to add our strategy for mixed martial arts, defending the clinch, defending kicks, defending takedowns, and add all that in with the punches and go through all of it. You should be familiar with this because it's part of the footwork flow drill that I did for the first DVD. If you haven't bought that, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, you can always go onto YouTube and just look up the best footwork flow drill for MMA. I'm not going to go over the specifics of the footwork patterns because this is the punching DVD, but if you need a refresher for the footwork, make sure you go look at that on YouTube or buy the DVD. Right now I'll take you through the 4 patterns that we're going to chain all together, and hopefully that's going to help you out a lot. Okay, so the first pattern is you're going to find yourself in front of your heavy bag or your Wave Master, which is what I'm using right now. All you need is this, some gloves, and some space to move around, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so the first pattern is going to be step forward, pivot left, double jab, right hand, clinch defense, so you're just going to push away and pivot out and start to dance. And dancing is just, like I said in the footwork DVD, is just continually pivoting out to your left. So it's step forward, pivot left, double jab right hand, clinch defense, start dancing. The next one is going to step back, pivot right, and then you're going to throw an overhand right, a left uppercut, and a left hook, and then you're going to start to shuffle. So a little faster. Step back, pivot right, overhand, uppercut, left hook, shuffle. Third pattern. Step left, check left, so check that kick. Step left, check left, right hand, left of the body, right uppercut, left hook, dance. So step left, check left. Last one. Step right, in and out with the jab. So step right, in and out. And then come back in with the 1, 2, 3. Right to the body, left to the body, sprawl, shuffle. So a little faster, step right. So now I'll chain them all together. What you want to do is chain all 4 patterns together, go for 3-minute rounds, 5-minute rounds. What it's going to do is condition you, because you do this for a bit, you start breathing a little bit. Condition your feet to automatically move right after you attack. And this is what's going to be necessary in order for you to box for MMA. Because we don't want to be in the clinch, and we don't want to be taken down, otherwise we can't get off our punches. So that's the reason why it's important to attack and then move. Okay, so I'll run through all those.
See, I'm messing up myself. I'm not used to these patterns because I just created them. But as you'll see, you're probably not going to get these right away. Just work on each pattern individually, then work on them all together. You'll forget certain ones. Take notes during this video so you write them down. It'll take you a day or two. But once you get it ingrained in your head, you're going to do everything automatically. And I appreciate you buying this DVD. I hope it helps you a lot, and we'll see you next time.